So today, instead of an iceberg, we've got 5 mysteries or just weird things I found searching the internet. Much easier to do that than to do research for the iceberg, because it takes forever and I don't have a lot of time. But these will be interesting if you like scary stuff, spooky stuff. I think there's a bigger audience for spooky stuff than there is for CIA politics. Yeah.
Mischief.
Yeah. So the first one is the ghost who solved her own murder.
Pog. Respect.
Yeah, okay, so this happened in 1897, if you can imagine, yeah.
Alright.
When, like, the devil was real.
You saying he isn't?
Not anymore.
Died?
Yeah. One January afternoon, 1897, Erasmus Edward Shue, a blacksmith, sent his neighbor's young boy to see if Elva, his wife of 3 months, needed anything from the market. The boy walked through the front door of their house in West Virginia and found Elva lying at the foot of the stairs dead. So he sent his assistant to go find his wife, and she was dead. In his house.
In his house?
Yeah.
Damn. Alright.
So this was
his
all
wife?
This is what?
Is it the blacksmith wife?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Edward Shue. And so everyone thought it was just natural causes. They called it complications of pregnancy, because I guess she was pregnant at the time. And Shue was well liked, so they didn't think anything of it. But Elva, his wife's mom, she never liked him, you know. So
Yeah.
So she, even without evidence, she was convinced that he had murdered her daughter. And so she thought if only Elva could tell her what happened. So she decided to pray for Elva to somehow come back from the dead and reveal the truth about her death. She prayed every evening for weeks until finally her prayer was answered. The mom claimed that her daughter appeared to her in a dream 4 nights in a row to tell her story. Supposedly the spirit appeared first as a bright light, gradually taking a human form and filling the room with a chill. Elva's ghost confessed to her mother that Shue cruelly abused her and one night attacked her in a rage when he thought she hadn't made any meat for his dinner. That's what the ghost told her mom.
That's brutal, man.
Yeah, but it's a ghost testimony.
The meat, bro.
I know, it's a fucked up story.
Fucking beef stroganoff. No beef!
Yeah. He had broken her neck, the ghost said, as she turned her head completely around. So, the mom told all of this to the prosecutor of the case, who was just gonna, dismiss it because they thought it was natural causes. And it was enough for Preston to justify an order for a complete autopsy. So they were like, okay, fine, we'll get the autopsy. And a few days later, the body was exhumed, despite Shue's objections. Obviously, the husband was like, no, don't do it, she's resting.
Oh.
And so the doctors laid the body out in the town's one-room schoolhouse to give it a thorough examination. Yeah, they did this autopsy in the town's schoolhouse. Imagine going to school the next day and you're like, this was like formaldehyde in here. A local newspaper, the Pocahontas Times, later reported that on the throat were the marks of fingers indicating that she had been choked, that the neck was dislocated between the first and second vertebrae, the ligaments were torn and ruptured, the windpipe had been crushed at a point in front of the neck. Shue was later sentenced to life in prison, but died soon after an epidemic tore through the prison in the spring of 1900. An epidemic, bro.
The mom knew, dude.
Yep.
Had the fucking vision.
The mom lived until 1916 and never recanted her story about Elva's ghost. Maybe her story swayed the jury and won the case, maybe it didn't. Maybe her daughter spoke to her from beyond the grave, maybe the ghost was all in her head, or maybe it was all a strategic lie. But no matter who saw or believed what, without the ghost story, the mom may have never gone to Preston, and Shue might not have gone to trial. A historical marker in Greenbrier County commemorates Elva's death in the unusual court case that followed, noting that this was, quote, the only known case in which a testimony from a ghost helped convict of murder.
Honestly interesting.
It's so silly, dude.
What happened? The mom actually strangled her to death.
And the husband was hot on the trail.
He's like, no.
Alright, so yeah. Apparently, in 1897, you could be sentenced for murder.
Maybe she's psychic or
ghost.
something.
Yeah, I mean, this is weird. Usually, I'm not the skeptic, and you are, but it's the roles are reversed right now. I just think it's fucking stupid.
I also think it's pretty silly. However, I'm not completely opposed to believing that there is some form of truth to it.
I mean, she was right.
She was right,
He definitely choked her to death.
given
And then
the evidence.
It came out later that that was like his third wife, and the first one he divorced, and the second one died in another mysterious way.
Probably choked her to death too and just
Yeah.
didn't get the autopsy.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, fucking mom intuition though.
And then there was also a story where when the coroner came to the house to be like, oh, she's dead, let me go get the body. The husband was like all sad and like crying, but like holding her head and like probably hiding the neck from the coroner. Yeah.
You're like,
But they didn't think anything of it until the mom came through. But alright. So the next one is the not so mysterious death of Jonathan Luna. It said mysterious death, but this is not so mysterious. You'll figure it out. Summarized by Reddit user Morbidology. I just pretty much copied his Reddit post, so sorry, bro. So Jonathan Luna worked as an assistant United States attorney in Elk Ridge, Baltimore. His focus was on convicting sexual predators.
okay.
On the 4th of December 2003, Luna left his home for work. He had been working on a case involving two men who were accused of dealing heroin from the music label studio Stash House Records. One of the men was also facing a murder charge. After working through the evening, Luna called his colleague at around 9 p.m. to say he was just about to head home. They were preparing on offering the two men a plea deal. According to the clocking out system, Luna didn't leave until 11:38 p.m. And Luna needed his glasses to drive, yet he left them behind in the office, which is strange. At around 1 a.m., Luna's car entered Delaware, where $200 was lifted from his credit card. He then entered New Jersey and Pennsylvania, and his credit card was used once again. Luna's Easy Pass was used, but after entering Delaware, he started to purchase toll tickets. At around 5:30 a.m. the following morning, a worker at Sensenig and Weaver in Denver, Pennsylvania, noticed a car parked behind the building. He noticed that blood was smeared over the door and the front fender. In the back seat was a puddle of blood on the floor, as well as on the seat. Money was scattered in the car. In a nearby creek, he found the body of Jonathan Luna. He had sustained 36 stab wounds with his own penknife. His hands were slashed as well as his scrotum and throat. And after the attack, he apparently drowned in the creek.
So his wrists were slit?
He was
Or just
stabbed
his hands?
36 times and his hands were slashed.
So not his wrists.
Yeah.
So his scrotum, his hands.
His throat, and 36 other stab wounds.
Wait, so who was this guy?
He was the assistant United States attorney in Elk Ridge, Baltimore, focusing on convicting sexual predators.
So some sexual predators got him? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay. Keep going.
Yeah. Investigators found that the toll tickets had blood smeared on them. Moreover, the puddle of blood in the back indicated that Luna had been in the back seat when sustaining the wounds. Inside the car, investigators found an unidentified fingerprint in the blood, as well as unidentified blood indicating Luna wasn't alone. The death was originally ruled as a homicide, obviously, but the FBI asked the pathologist to change it to suicide. The pathologist said that Luna had defensive wounds and even stab wounds to his back that would be indicative of a brutal and frenzied attack from somebody else. Yeah, but the FBI wanted to label it as a suicide.
They're like, no, he killed himself.
And his scrotum. Fuck kills themselves cutting their scrotum. Soon a smear campaign on Luna's reputation was born. It was reported that Luna may have been involved in a robbery case where $36,000 went missing. The Baltimore Sun implied that Luna was involved and alluded that he committed suicide because he was afraid he was going to get fired. There was never any evidence to back these claims up, however. Many have theorized that Luna's death was connected with the drug ring case he was prosecuting. So yeah.
That had ties to the FBI.
Yeah, that had ties to the FBI, and they told him to make it a suicide?
Yeah, come on now, that's sus.
Wait. Should take a swig. Huh?
You should take a swig. Can't Can't believe those boys ate that starfish. Hungry boys.
Yeah, so whoever he was prosecuting obviously was influential with the FBI, and they fucking killed him for it, knowing that the FBI would back him up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy, right?
Quite.
36 times. Hands were slashed and his scrotum and throat, and he had stabs in his back, and they said it was a suicide.
Clearly sounds like a vicious attack.
And then he, like, ran away and drowned in a creek after.
Yeah.
So it's like, what, is he running away from his own suicide attempt?
Not likely.
Not likely. So yeah, it's supposed to be mysterious. I mean, I guess it is, considering who the hell actually stabbed him, but the motives are pretty clear.
Yeah.
This is a little silly one. I thought it might be funny. The Pascagoula abduction. On the evening of October 11th, 1973, 42-year-old Charles Hickson and 19-year-old Calvin Parker told the Jackson County, Mississippi Sheriff's Office that they were fishing off a pier on the west bank of the Pascagoula River in Mississippi when they heard a whirring/whizzing sound and saw two flashing blue lights and observed an oval-shaped object 30 to 40 feet across and 8 to 10 feet high. Parker and Hickson claimed they were conscious but paralyzed, while three creatures with robotic slit mouths and crab-like pincers took them aboard the object and subjected them to an examination. Some fucking crab aliens abducted these guys, apparently.
Sounds like DMT.
But so the interesting thing about this, actually, is that the local sheriff left them alone and secretly recorded them, expecting them to reveal it as a hoax between themselves. But they continued to discuss the events with each other as if they were terrified of what happened.
They got drugged, man.
Something happened to these poor guys.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe fucking crab men. It's not lizard people, it's crab men.
They're
now.
not even aliens. They're just other life forms that evolved
Yeah.
on Earth.
I mean, there is the theory that, like, the UFOs come from the oceans. Maybe, yeah. Sentient crab organisms.
Or, like, past civilizations that already inhabited Earth millions of
See,
years ago.
doesn't it make more sense that gray aliens are time travelers?
Or previous inhabitants of Earth. I would say either one of those is much more likely.
Okay, but listen, ready? If humans continue to evolve through machinery and technology, which we will, we don't need muscles
We're
anymore.
gonna get smaller.
We're gonna get smaller, our brains are gonna get bigger, we're not gonna need to use muscles, so they're like just scrawny little things with big brains.
Big
And
eyes,
if they're a million years in the future, who knows what they would look like.
or even 10.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like more so than time travel, I would subscribe to the theory of previous inhabitants that have come back.
Did you hear the theory that was like had a buzz on like the internet recently because of some like TikToker dumbass who said it, but it's honestly intriguing.
What?
Was that Mars was like the humans' original planet and that it's just destroyed at this point, but it's like a warning to us.
Yeah. I mean, there's a theory like called panspermia that life can get like spread between planets and that we might have originated from Mars or Venus even.
That would be sick.
Because matter does go between the planets. Like, we know that as a fact. Like, we get like matter from Mars and other planets and shit. So.
I wish we could live long enough.
To see what the future is like.
Well, yeah, but also just to find out these answers.
Me too, man. I want to know what the fuck's going on. Just cryo me, bro. I'll wake up in like 20,000 years, see what's up.
It's just like a caveman who pushes the button, and you step out like
Beats me to death.
just instant, and then you become the new part of the new world religion. And then 2,000 years later, we're like, dude, that was fucking stupid. They say this guy stepped out of a box.
Then they turned his head into a goblet.
Something about drinking blood and shit. Like, what the fuck? These people are stupid.
Came back like 4 days later. In another pod. I don't know.
But it was just me in the next chamber that they opened. I see your mutilated corpse in the corner. Just getting beat to death by cavemen.
No, they have 2 goblets.
Alright. So, oh, but there's also, people say that you can't time travel to somewhere that doesn't already have a time machine. Like if it's a portal that needs two ends to open, the reason we don't see time travelers is because time travel hasn't been invented yet. But once you open that one portal, it's going to be like kind of like how AI, when it gets to a certain point, it's just going to explode in intelligence because it's like there's no more restrictions on it. Imagine when we open that first portal, it's just infinite fucking explosions of anything, technology, information, because anyone can go back to that certain point in time from any time past that one time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So once we open that first portal, it's like time doesn't even exist anymore because anything can come back to that time.
Okay. That's interesting. I mean, time barely even exists as it is.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
But it kind of sucks though because it exists for us. But once they open that portal, it pretty much doesn't.
See, time travel being so goddamn confusing and paradoxical is why I more so subscribe to the previous inhabitants theory.
Okay, then what? Why are they hiding? What kind of inhabitants are they? You don't know.
Maybe they're humans who were here like a couple 100,000 years ago and left.
From a previous panspermia or something?
No, I mean like maybe they're from Earth. Maybe they just evolved, left, and then left people on Earth to their own devices or something. I don't know.
You know what I was seeing today?
Huh.
When I was looking for all these mysteries, that the Aztec capital that was like in the island in Mexico City, the Teotihuacan or
Yeah.
something like that. The Aztecs didn't even build that city.
They inhabited it?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
It was there before.
That's fucking whack. I think I also remember hearing something like that.
And but by the time the Spanish had got there, like the Aztecs were already like doing horribly. If like, that's a sad thing too, dude. Is like when the colonizers came in America or the U.S. too.
Yeah.
The native populations were already just like pretty much decimated by then. I wish like they had came at a time when the Aztecs were at their peak. They would just
Right.
got their shit rocked.
Just like 500 dudes in a boat just get fucking executed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been the ideal history.
Yeah, but then there's also the mystery of who. I don't know if they know who built the city, but where did they go?
Yeah.
And how did the
Where are the
Aztecs
people?
find themselves there?
They're previous inhabitants. They're aliens. But not aliens.
Yeah.
Aliens from Earth.
Most likely they're probably just like the Aztecs are probably just like the descendants of these people
Yeah.
that just like lost a lot of their
Probably.
culture.
But I like the idea that if we find aliens, we'll have no idea of knowing whether or not they even are aliens or if they came from Earth. So if they're close enough to be something that we get contact with, they're probably more likely to have been from Earth. Because it's like the scale of the universe is so large that it's hard to travel large distances. It's easier to travel through time.
That would be interesting though, because like
I've heard that as like a theory posed by like people, you know what I mean?
yeah, but like if an alien was like let's say the Greys were original inhabitants of Earth, or they just have been for a long time, are they still aliens?
No, at that point I don't think they are.
Well, what would we call them?
Extraterrestrial, I don't know.
But what if they're from Earth? They can't be extraterrestrial.
Well, they're no longer terrestrial. Therefore, they're kind of still extraterrestrial now.
I mean, why aren't they terrestrial if they live on the ground, or if they live in the oceans?
Oh, I'm assuming. Yeah, I guess you're right. But I was assuming that they didn't live on Earth anymore.
Oh, they came back.
Or if we could like contact them in like a nearby solar system, there's still a good chance that they're just from Earth in the past or something. I don't know.
That would be wild.
I also subscribe to the idea that there's life everywhere in the universe, though, or at least
You think so?
in like the majority of solar systems. Yeah, I would think so, honestly.
Dude, we need to get a drone to Europa.
For real,
There's probably fucking like giant whale-like creatures in Europa.
potentially.
It's just
Definitely microbes, right? Like
Yeah.
there's gotta be.
there's got to be microbes. Who knows what else there is?
Because I mean, there's life that lives on Earth completely independently of the sun, just off of
Yeah.
off the fucking vents,
Mm-hmm.
and the Earth could be shot out of the solar system, and there would still be life at the vents for as long as there was volcanic activity on Earth.
Yeah, and we know there's some sort of heat on Europa because the ice shifts, so it's melting.
It's got some sort of like
Ocean.
terrestrial energy still.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called.
Okay,
That was
that was a giant
incredibly-
tangent. everyone clicked off by now.
They're like,
these idiots.
what the fuck, are they high? What are they on?
Okay. This is a fun one. The strange case of Rudolph Fentz.
Got a sick name.
In 1950, a man with mutton chop sideburns and Victoria-era clothes popped up in Times Square. Witnesses said he looked startled, and then a minute later he was hit by a car and killed. You just opened like your closet and you're on the 50s fucking Times Square. The officials at the morgue searched his body and found the following items in his pockets. A copper token for a beer worth 5 cents bearing the name of a saloon which was unknown even to older residents of the area. A bill for the care of a horse and the washing of a carriage. This is in the 50s. Drawn by a livery stable on Lexington Avenue that was not listed in any address book. About $70 in old banknotes. Business cards with the name Rudolph Fentz and an address on 5th Avenue. A letter sent to this address in June 1876 from Philadelphia.
That's insane. What do you make of that?
None of these objects showed any signs of aging. Captain Hubert V. Rim of the Missing Persons Department of NYPD tried using this information to identify the man. He found that the address on 5th Avenue was part of a business. Its current owner did not know Rudolph Fentz. Fentz's name was not listed in the address book, his fingerprints were not recorded anywhere, and no one had reported him missing. Rim continued the investigation and finally found a Rudolph Fentz Jr. in a telephone book of 1939. Rim spoke to the residents of the apartment building at the listed address who remembered Fentz and described him as a man about 60 years who had worked nearby. After his retirement, he moved to an unknown location in 1940. Contacting the bank, Rim was told that Fentz died 5 years before, but this is Fentz Jr., who had died 5 years before. But his widow was still alive but lived in Florida. Rim contacted her and learned that her husband's father had disappeared in 1876 at age 29. He had left the house for an evening walk and never returned.
What the fuck? This kid actually went out for milk and never came back. What the hell?
What is that?
Is it real?
This is the hard part. So apparently, this story was published in a newspaper, and then later it was turned into a short story. And so people for a long time were saying it was just a short story, but then the listing in the newspaper was from before that told this story. So it's kind of convoluted as to whether it's real or not. But I believe the first publication of this story was real. But then it got subsequently changed.
So there was no actual investigator of that name?
There was.
So he... Okay, so then the event is what's not necessarily known if it's real or not, but he did actually do an investigation on it and come up with those results.
I believe so, yes. And there is someone named Fentz born at the time and would have been 29 then and disappeared and all that.
That's crazy. I don't know, dude.
It's probably bullshit, but it sounds real.
I mean, yeah. I mean, assuming it's real, I don't know what the fuck.
He literally was just like taking a stroll, walking past horse shit. It's fucking hilarious. He's like,
It's rounded down by some mechanical beast unlike he's ever seen.
Fuck, right? He never even seen a motor. Maybe like a steam motor from
1868?
79.
79. Yeah, they got like locomotives and such.
Yeah, but they don't have... I think the first car was like in the 1890s.
Yeah, I think you're right. Wasn't it a Benz?
Yeah, it was. It just looked like a carriage without horses.
Yeah.
They got horseless carriages around here.
My.
So holy shit, is that a horseless carriage? Last story, guest starring Huey P. Newton of the Black Panther Party.
Oh, he's a sneezy boy.
Mr. Chairman.
I think he wants to go. Sounds like it. Oh my. Okay, buddy. He sneezed on my face.
He thought you were a pig.
Fair. Should have got my neck.
Have you heard of the Yuba County Five?
The Yuba County 5? No, it sounds like it's out of an anime.
It actually happened like right in our backyard.
It is Yuba, so.
Yuba County, which is closer than Yuba City.
Or.
Okay, it's called the American Dyatlov Pass incident. It literally happened where we go hunting.
Sorry.
You're good.
Plumas National Forest?
No, but that direction. We passed Yuba County lines
On
and
the
then
way.
into Plumas County. Huh?
Oh, yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
You remember this story?
No, I mean, I remember you telling me that we would go through Yuba into
Yeah. Okay.
Plumas.
So yeah, this happened right next to us. So this is the story of the American Dyatlov Pass incident. That's what they fucking call it.
Kind of like Dogman right in the backyard.
Yeah. We got hella shit here. Honestly, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. On the cold winter evening of the 24th of February 1978, 5 young men, dubbed the Yuba County Five, disappeared on their way home from a basketball game. In the warmer months, 4 of them were found dead, with the remaining body never being found. What happened to these men that cut them down the prime of their lives in such strange circumstances? The Yuba County Five were Jack Hewitt, William Sterling, Jack Madruga, Theodore Wire, and Gary Mateus. Gary Mateus was never found, but the rest were dead. The 5 young men who made up the Yuba County Five ranged in age from mid-20s to early 30s. All were either mildly developmentally disabled or had other severe psychiatric conditions. So they were all, I think one guy was a Vietnam vet, really hard problems there. Other guys were like autistic or something like that. I think one guy was schizophrenic, was like taking meds for it. But, I mean, they drove themselves. They weren't like totally disabled.
Yeah.
They played basketball together through a gateway program and were that night heading back from a basketball game at California State University, Chico. They were last seen for certain buying snacks for their trip home from a gas station. When the Yuba County Five didn't return home after a few hours, their parents called the police and search parties were deployed. No trace of the men was found for several days until on the 28th of February, a park ranger stumbled upon their car 4,500 feet up a mountain, 2.5 hours away from where they should have been, which was Yuba City. They actually lived in Yuba City. They went up to Chico for the basketball game. They were going to come back down to Yuba City. They went, instead of passing Oroville, they went through Oroville, and they went towards where we were camping. So pretty much right by our house,
Gotcha.
through there. Nobody knows why they went to Oroville, or why they were going towards Forbstown.
Oh, they were going up towards Forbstown. Okay, I can visualize it.
Yeah, it was like right around Forbstown this happened.
Huh.
Yeah, it's very close to here.
Yeah.
We could literally get there in 45 minutes, maybe.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
Been there.
Yeah, we've been there. That's where we saw the bear. Oh no, that's where we saw the giant deer.
Yeah.
Remember?
Like the 8-point buck or something.
Dude, it
like
was
that.
insane. Okay. So they found the car 2.5 hours away from where they should have been, Yuba City. There was no sign of the men with the car. They were not wearing warm enough clothing to survive for long outside. This was winter, and back then in the winter, it would actually snow a lot there.
Not so much anymore.
Yeah, now it snows a little. Investigators found that there was nothing wrong with the car that would have forced the 5 men to leave it. The search teams found themselves unable to continue searching through the snow in this rough terrain, so they paused the search to resume it when the weather cleared. One man named Joe Shones thinks he may have sighted the Yuba County Five while he was up at the mountain investigating the conditions at his ski lodge. He was trying to remove snow from around his car and started to have a mild heart attack. So this fucking
Thing that happens.
the only witness was having a heart attack as he saw them. Weird coincidence, huh?
Interesting.
He got back in his car and waited for someone to come past so he could get some help. He saw a group of men, a woman, and a baby walking together and called out to them for help, but they ignored him. So apparently these Yuba County Five guys were now with a woman and a baby in the snow.
What are they doing?
Later, he saw what he believed were flashlights in the surrounding area. Several hours later, he was running out of gas and decided to walk down the mountain to find help. Months later, on the 4th of June, a small group of motorcyclists were exploring the forested areas in Yuba County when they came across a deserted trailer service area. When they removed their helmets, they smelled a horrifyingly bad smell and alerted the park services that something was amiss. The park services found a trailer that had been broken into with the body of Ted Wire inside. He had severely frostbitten feet, had lost over 100 pounds, and had grown a substantial beard. He is suspected to have lived in that trailer for 8 to 12 weeks after the date he went missing. It was believed that he wasn't alone in the trailer, as he was found with bed sheets tightly tucked over his body. Like he had died and they put bed sheets over him. His shoes were missing, however. Several valuable items of jewelry and his wallet with cash inside were still with him. But his shoes were missing. Strangely, the trailer was filled with food. This is why it's called the Outlaw Pass incident. It's like, find them dead, but like, shoes are missing. You got frostbitten feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the Outlaw Pass, like the tongue was missing or whatever. That was like one of the things. Strangely, the trailer was filled with food and materials that could have been used to start a fire, as well as propane and a heating system. All they had to do to survive was eat the food and turn the gas on, but for some reason they didn't. The day after Ted's body was found, the remains of Jack M. and Bill were also discovered. They were found on either side of the road that led up to the trailer about 11 miles from the car. So it was just snowing and they just abandoned their car and walked until one of them found a trailer. And a couple of them died beforehand, it sounds like. You see?
And they broke into the trailer.
Yeah, nobody was in there. Jack M's remains were believed to have been eaten by animals and dragged down the road a few meters. Bill was located in a woody next to the road. There were only bones left. 2 days after this, Jack H's remains were discovered by his own father. Jack's backbone and shoes were found just a quarter mile away from the trailer. There are Forest Service blankets and a flashlight nearby. The remains of Gary Matthias have never been found. And so, you got any theories? Before I get into some of the theories? I mean, okay. One aspect of it is that they're not 100% there. A lot of them are PTSD, schizophrenia, autistic. Although they go to basketball games together.
Yeah, and they attend Chico State.
No, I don't think they attended it. I think they were just going there for like a community basketball game.
Honestly, I don't know. You think that plays a big role in it? Maybe like one of the PTSD dudes like
a lot of
like
people
a trip or something.
Yeah, a lot of people will the skeptics obviously, 'cause,
Yeah.
will say that they just fucked up because they were not as stable as other
I
people.
don't know. I don't really buy that.
No, it doesn't sound likely. I mean, one was a veteran. No matter how messed up he was, he's not going to willingly walk off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If they're out and playing basketball and stuff and like driving places, I would imagine they probably have the sense not to usually just stop and walk into a frozen forest. I don't know.
Yeah, and the guy, if you're driving, you're pretty much all there. Like, they're not going to let somebody who's
Yeah.
really bad,
And I mean, realistically,
who's a danger to themselves, drive
given
a
the
car.
circumstances, they were probably all having relatively minor versions of those things, you know, given that they like went to activities and stuff. I don't know.
And so one theory is that they were up there because they were going to either Berry Creek or Forbstown, right? Like right down the road. Because they wanted to celebrate with one of their friends because they won the basketball game.
Nice.
And so that's one of the theories why they went there, because that's another mystery. Why were they,
There.
Chico here, Yuba City down here, them all the way over here. And all they gotta do is follow the highway to Yuba City. It's not like up here. It's not like you're gonna get lost on these twisty forest roads when there's just a desolate highway that you need to get down to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Good points. I don't know. Maybe like before they were snowed in and then the snow went away or something. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I guess they could have been snowed in, but they couldn't.
Because they didn't get there until the warmer months, right?
Well, they couldn't search on foot. They could drive up there, I mean, but they had to stop searching. You know what I mean?
See.
Okay, so some of the theories. It is possible that the Yuba County Five simply got lost for some reason and then attempted to find shelter by following snowcat tracks to the trailer. Now that doesn't make any sense. Snowcat tracks? Are there a significant amount of... Is that trying to say mountain lions?
Potentially. Maybe it just meant cat tracks that are in snow.
Yeah, but those don't look like people footprints. So it would have to be mountain lions he's talking about, but why is he saying... This person obviously is not from here if they think snowcats are here. There are no, like, lynxes here.
Siberians.
Yeah!
Cats, wild cats, yeah, no.
So I guess they could have been following mountain lion tracks.
I don't know, is that really a solid idea?
I don't know, it's just silly to me to say snowcat tracks up here. There's no snowcats. Maybe I'm wrong. Are there lynxes? That's the only thing I can think of for a snowcat because they got the giant feet.
Maybe there's just some wild California snowcat, I don't know, I mean...
That would be strange. I've never heard of that.
I know that there's wild snowcats in other places.
Yeah? They're just called snowcats?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think they're just called snowcats, definitely not the title.
Okay. Once there, they may have been afraid to eat the food or use the propane, believing it would have been stealing and not wanting to get in trouble. So that's another horrible theory.
Yeah.
If
He's
he,
gonna
the
die.
man lost 100 pounds, he's starving to death. You couldn't stop him from eating food at that point.
Literally, yeah, I would think.
Oh, dude, that would be sad though. If these guys are just like trying to be moral and starving themselves to death.
See,
That doesn't make
there's
sense.
no way I don't buy it, man.
Yeah, that doesn't make any
They
sense.
broke into the trailer, but they're not gonna eat the food they find in it.
That's a good point. They already did something worse. Yeah. Right after the men disappeared, the families and investigators were almost completely convinced that foul play was involved. When no answers could be found, the families grew frustrated with investigators and came up with their own theories about what could have happened, including the boys being chased after the basketball game, or someone kidnapping them and forcing them to walk to their deaths in the snow. But that guy was alive. He had a beard and lost 100 pounds. So unless he got away and just stood in the cabin without eating, even then, dude, that is so weird.
Maybe like they were told to run, and then they got lost in the woods after or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Some have speculated that they may have seen something paranormal like a UFO or a Sasquatch which led them up the mountain, then caused them to panic and flee into the forest.
You get out of your car when you see something like that.
No.
I mean, to get a look at it, not to run away, right? At least that's what I would be doing.
Yep. The Yuba County 5 case has gone down in history as one of the most mysterious missing persons cases of all time.
That is interesting. I don't know, man. What
So
do
you never
think?
heard about that?
What's your take?
I have no idea. None of it makes sense.
No.
Because there was food there and he was pretty much starved to death. He was missing his shoes.
Maybe one of the other people took the shoes, because shoes were important in the snow.
Maybe,
That would be
yeah.
my thought.
But why would you have frostbite when there was a heater and and starved to death when there's food?
Maybe they got there after he was dead.
Oh, they dragged him there?
Well, then how would they have survived for long enough to have a beard
Yeah.
if he was in the elements?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a fucked up case. Maybe they stayed in their car for a long time or something. And then when they were like dying, that's when they decided.
No, they found the car pretty soon after. They just couldn't search after that.
Man, that's sad.
And the car was perfectly fine.
Dude, so they were so close to those people, like 11 miles from them,
Mm-hmm.
the search and rescue. That's rough, man. And they were alive for like another 3 months. Or, was it 3 months? 10 to 12 weeks?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's a long fucking time.
At least one of them was. A lot of them didn't make it that long considering they were bones. And that guy was found with a beard, you know? He wasn't bones.
He wasn't bones. Maybe that's because he was in a car, though. The other ones were outside.
He was in the trailer.
Yeah. Otherwise,
But yeah, some of them probably died to exposure really quickly, and some of them got to the trailer. You know?
Yeah.
And one was found a quarter mile from the trailer, probably haven't got there, but went maybe tried to just escape at that point.
It's fucked up, though.
Yeah. So the real question is, do we go there?
Can you go there?
Probably. We could find it on the map. It's just like in the middle of the forest.
It's
We
just
could
like
at least...
a clearing for trailers.
Oh, there probably isn't a trailer there anymore.
No, I know, but I mean, like, there's just like a clearing for them or something.
No idea. We could find on the map where the car was, and then we could probably see on the map the trail they
Satellite,
took and just
yeah.
walk it.
We could go, honestly. Maybe when we go hunting, we just like one of the days take a trip.
Yeah. Alright, comment if you guys want us to go. We'll video it. Otherwise, we're not going.
Maybe their ghost will tell us what happened.
Maybe we can find the last guy.
He's just in a cave, still surviving somewhere.
What if we find him and he's just like in another trailer with a bunch of food, but he's like 80 years old and starves himself
Yay.
to death?
He's like, I don't know, that idiot in that other trailer didn't eat his food. Or uses propane, man. This shit's tight.
Right? He's like, I don't want to go back.
80, it was like 2004, wasn't it?
No! This is 73 or something.
Huh. Alright, yeah, about 80. I don't know.
Alright, that's all the stories we got. See you next time.